Fishing a new body of water. How many guys here have ever just decided to pack up and go fish a new lake? Everybody. And how frustrating and how intimidating is it? Very. Because you're trying to figure out, you're like, well, what am I going to do? Why am I going there? You probably heard that there was this awesome, great bite that was happening over there, or, which is always, you should have been here yesterday. You know, we've all heard that. You get over there and they're just not happening. But the first thing you need to do is you need to start out with your research. I mean, research consists of a lot of different things. I mean, we're talking about your mapping, we're talking about YouTube, we're talking about making phone calls, and even just simple as getting on the weather, you know, get on your app on your phone for the weather. So lake maps is always the first place that I start before I get into anything. Because you don't want to get into your weather, you don't want to get into the Google mapping yet, you just want to start with a topographical map. You can either get online and find one, you can actually just get on your fish finder and start scrolling through. I mean, now the live units from Lowrance, you turn it on and you could scroll to just about every lake in the country, and Insight has depth about it. So then you have to figure out, you know, what you're going to do from that point on conditions, time of year. Are you in the springtime where you need to look for the spawning flats? Are you in the pre-spawn for the places leading to the spawn? Are you in the summer where they're in the summer, or is it post-spawn? See, those are all the things you have to take into consideration on the time of year, because anybody can just go and start fishing down the bank in bushes, but if it's snow flurries out there, most likely those fish aren't going to be in this much water, and you're going to be able to go catch them flipping bushes, which is the way that I'd love to do it. YouTube, I use YouTube a lot. I spend a lot of time. We have these stupid thing called smart TVs, and you have YouTube on it, and I spend hours and hours and hours watching fishing videos. And all you have to do is type in, you know, it's like, for example, we're going to Lake Monroe. I type in bass fishing on Lake Monroe, and this whole list of stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you a lot of it, once again, even though it's as seen on TV, isn't always true. And if you believe that, I got a bridge I want to sell you in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's red. They call it the Golden Gate. They collect tolls on it. I'll sell it to you dirt cheap. But I only take cash. And so YouTube, but there's lots of information. You got to learn how to filter that information. I mean, filtering that information is, you know, hugely important, because you get people, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but Scott Martin, for prime example, he tells you he's on Lake Okeechobee all the time. Great Lake Okeechobee starts out there. And then all of a sudden you go to this lake and you're like, it kind of looks like Okeechobee, but I'm going to tell you, the mats that he's flipping over there is not on Lake Okeechobee. So you got to learn to filter that information. So those are important things. Scott's a great guy. Then we get back to weather. Cell phone, Weather Channel, always hugely important. Paying attention to those conditions when you're going to a new lake. Weather dictates a fish's mode. I mean, when it's cold, those fish are going to be hunkered down. When it's warm, those fish are going to be out swimming around. You got to have your right tackle preparation when you show up to a lake, because you don't have a lot of time to breaking down a new lake. So weather is hugely, hugely, hugely important. And then even before you get to the lake, you can have an idea of what the lake looks like from Google Maps. I use Google Maps so much when I'm sitting here in the wintertime and I'm doing tackle prep and I'm going through the list of lakes we're going to, even if it's a lake that I've been to before. The great part about Google Maps is you can find out the date that the satellite photo was taken, so you can actually find trees. One thing about Google Maps is when I won Lake Okeechobee back in 2011, I could actually see the drains that were rolling into these pockets. And so between my phone, my Lowrance unit, I was already marking places that I wanted to check out. And once I figured out that they were in these drains, which is, for Lake Okeechobee, you have to understand, is these drains were going from 1.5 feet of water to 2.5 feet of water. We're talking that much difference, but you could see the drains in the deeper spots. And so those were the spots where the fish were keying in on, which was hugely important, which allowed me to maximize my fishing area, productive fishing water. So I'd run down the lake, I'd look on my map, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, fish this drain, fish. I'd catch a couple fish, and then you'd go 200 yards, and there'd be no drain. So instead of fishing my way down that 200 yards, I pack up.
It's Mike Iaconelli. This is Bass U TV.
Here's what's awesome about Bass U TV.
You get the top instructors.
Real tools that help you catch more fish consistently.
And that's why you want to check out Bass U TV.
Join the Bass U family.
Welcome to Bass U TV.